Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottama Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiraye Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 1, The Advent of Lord Krishna, Introduction. Text number 52. Evam Vimrishya Tam Papam Evam Vimrishya Tam Papam Yavad Atmani Darshanam Yavadatmani Darshanam Pujayam Asa Vai Shaurir Pujayamasa Vai Shaurir Bahu Mana Purassaram Bahumana Purassaram Evam Vimrishyatam Papam Yavadatmani Darshanam Pujayamasa Vai Shaurir Bahumana Purassaram Evam Vimrishyatam Papam Yavadatmani Darshanam Pujayamasa Vai Shaurir Bahumana Purassaram Evam Vimrishyatam Papam Yavadatmani Darshanam Pujayamasa Vai Shaurir Bahumana Purassaram Evam Vimrishyatam Papam Yavadatmani Darshanam Pujayamasa Vai Shaurir Bahumana Purassaram. Evam, in this way, Vimrishya, after contemplating tam unto Kamsa, papam, the most sinful, yavat, as far as possible, atmani, darshanam, with all the intelligence possible within himself, Pujayamasa, praised. Why? Indeed, Shaurihi, Vasudeva, Bahumana, offering all respect. Purassaram, before him. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. After thus considering the matter as far as his knowledge would allow, Vasudeva submitted his proposal to the sinful Kamsa with great respect. Please repeat this translation. After thus considering the matter as far as his knowledge would allow, Vasudeva submitted his proposal to the sinful Kamsa with great respect. I'll read the next verse by myself. Text number 53. Prasannavadanam bhojo nushamsam nirapatrapam Manasa duyamanena vihasannidam abravit. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace is Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation. Vasudeva's mind was full of anxiety because his wife was facing danger. But in order to please the cruel, shameless, and sinful Kamsa, he externally smiled and spoke to him as follows. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Sometimes one must act duplicitously in a dangerous position, as Vasudeva did to save his wife. The material world is complicated, and to execute one's duties, one cannot avoid adopting such diplomacy. Vasudeva did everything possible to save his wife for the sake of begetting Krishna. This indicates that one may act duplicitously for the purpose of saving Krishna and his interests. According to the arrangement already foretold, Krishna was to appear through Vasudeva and Devaki to kill Kamsa. Vasudeva therefore had to do everything to save the situation. Although all the events were pre-arranged by Krishna, a devotee must try his best to serve the purpose of Krishna. Krishna himself is all-powerful, but it is not that a devotee should therefore sit idly and leave everything to him. This instruction is also found in Bhagavad Gita. Although Krishna was doing everything for Arjuna, Arjuna never sat down idly as a non-violent gentleman. Rather, he tried his best to fight the battle and be victorious. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we are discussing this first chapter of the 10th canto. It gives an introduction to the background of the circumstances leading to Krishna's appearance as the son of Vasudeva and Devaki. So, all the activities of the Lord, including his birth or appearance, is extraordinary. Very, very extraordinary. And in these two verses, particularly the 53rd verse, there is a very important lesson for us. That the situation in which Vasudeva is facing, that he's just married Devaki. He is returning to his own palace after the marriage ceremony. And then Devaki's brother affectionately is accompanying Devaki to take her from her father's place to her husband's palace. And he is personally taken charge of driving the chariot. And suddenly there is this unembodied voice from the sky. foretelling a prophecy that Kamsa, you are such a fool. You do not know that the eighth child of this woman whom you are driving in your chariot will be killing you. Immediately Kamsa was of demoniac nature. He reacted exactly like a demon. What did he do? He immediately took out his sword and was about to cut off Devaki's head, kill her. For that, he just removed his sword and he was holding the reins of the horse chariot in his left hand. Just threw that and pulled Devaki's hair and was about to kill her when Vasudeva suddenly stopped him and tried to speak to him in a gentle way, because Vasudeva is a gentleman, a true gentleman. So Vasudeva tried to appeal to his intelligence, because Kamsa was an intelligent person. So philosophically he was trying to tell him, you're not the body, you don't die at the time of death. Why should you be afraid of death? But all that did not somehow pacify Kamsa. Now he is thinking, somehow I have to save Devaki. So for that purpose, his intelligence is working. And he has to take a quick decision. What should he do to somehow save Devaki? So he thought that maybe I will promise to Kamsa that I will hand over the sons born of Devaki immediately as soon as the children are born, for Kamsa to protect himself and thus spare the life of Devaki. So the danger is not from Devaki, the danger is from Devaki's sons who are going to be born in the future. And that to the eighth child, it's so far away, at least 8 years later. So why should he immediately take any action against Devaki, his own sister, that too at the time of her marriage? So here it is explained, the thinking of Vasudeva is being explained. Considering the matter as far as his knowledge would allow, as far as his intelligence would permit, Vasudeva submitted his proposal to the sinful Kamsa with great respect. Now here, in the 53rd verse, Shukadeva Goswami is narrating this incident to Parikshit Maharaj. He is telling, Vasudeva's mind was full of anxiety because his wife was facing danger. See, intelligence can be utilized very easily when the circumstances are very favorable. But when there is danger, particularly danger for somebody's life, then it's not easy to apply one's intelligence in the proper way. Now, Vasudeva is able to actually think very quickly and do something to save Devaki's life because he is a devotee. A devotee's intelligence works perfectly because a devotee is surrendered to Krishna. And in the Bhagavad Gita it is explained, it is Krishna only who gives intelligence. to everyone, not only devotees, even to non-devotees. Sarvasya chaham hrudi sannivishto mattaha, means from me, I am seated in everybody's heart. From me comes smritihi jnanam apohanam cha, knowledge, remembrance, knowledge and forgetfulness. All three are given by Krishna to each and every person, because Krishna is seated in everyone's heart as a super soul, and he only gives particularly in this context, he gives knowledge. So to devotee, Krishna gives knowledge simply that which is required for the devotee to execute Krishna consciousness, because that's a devotee's life. And as far as non-devotees are concerned, Krishna as the super soul is always neutral as regards the non-devotees' situations. So by Krishna's arrangement for non-devotees, according to their karma, whatever they deserve, they will get. So, for devotees, it's not the karma that works. For devotees, it is Krishna's personal care for the devotees' Krishna conscious benefit, that Krishna will give necessary intelligence, he'll make necessary arrangements, he will protect, he will guide, he'll do everything for the devotee. But here we have to understand, what does surrender mean? Surrender does not mean, as Prabhupada says in this purport, Krishna himself is all powerful. But it is not that a devotee should therefore sit idly and leave everything to Krishna. No. It's a fact. Krishna is the supreme controller. Everything is going on under his specific control. And he arranges everything, ultimately. It is his arrangement. So then what role have we got to play? What should we do? Especially when it comes to devotees. Because anyway, non-devotees don't care for Krishna. So they will do as they like to do, or what they want to do, or what they can do. So non-devotees we don't have to discuss. But as regards devotees who are surrendered to Krishna, what are they supposed to do? After all, devotees know Krishna is in complete control, and it is Krishna who actually is driving everything. He only is giving intelligence. He only is arranging everything. His energies are working for his purpose, ultimate purposes. So what has a devotee got to do? So in one sense, we may say, a devotee doesn't have to do anything. Krishna will take care. Even though this is philosophically correct, but in practical terms, it doesn't mean that if a devotee is surrendered to Krishna and leaves everything in Krishna's hands, it doesn't mean a devotee becomes an idle person. No. Devotee also understands, I am a living being. Living being, spirit, soul, living entity. Living entity means always active. That's a characteristic of spirit. Spirit can never be inactive. This is explained by Krishna in the 3rd chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. When Arjuna proposes to Krishna after hearing the second chapter about Buddhi Yoga, you should apply your intelligence and not act foolishly. So, Arjuna's question at the beginning of the third chapter is very interesting. Arjuna tells Krishna, if you think intelligence is better than fruitive work, why do you want to engage me in this ghastly warfare? So Krishna then tells Arjuna that as spirit soul, no one can be inactive even for one moment. Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtati akarmakrit. Akarmakrit means not doing anything. That is impossible. Even for one moment, nobody can be idle. Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtati karmakrit. What is the next line? Karyate avashak karma. Avashaha means you're forced to act every moment. You cannot be inactive. So somebody may say, there are so many lazy people. I know. I myself am lazy. I means I. So there are times I just don't do anything. I simply sit idly. But Shastra tells you cannot be idle even one moment. So for that, the Bhagavad Gita says, we act not only through this body, physical body, but also through words and through the mind. So actions are performed three ways. Kaya, Vacha, Manasa. So a lazy person is very active in the mind. How to avoid doing any work? He is more active even than people who are actually using their intelligence to do something constructive. No? So it's a fact that nobody can be inactive even for a moment. Always they'll be working either through the body or through the words or through the mind or all through all the three or any two of them. Somehow their spirit soul means active. And scriptures also say at night when we are sleeping, obviously physically we are not doing anything. And even verbally we are not active. Physically we are not active. But the mind is completely active. Even at night. When we are completely fast asleep, the mind is working. And that is how we have experience of what is called as dreaming. So sleeping in one place in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, sleeping means dreaming. Sleeping means dreaming. So we cannot be inactive. We always are active. It's the nature of the soul. And opposite is the characteristic of matter. Matter is always dead matter. Matter can never act or work or do anything by itself. No. So in this material world, it's always spirit soul which moves matter. A person has to do something to move matter. Otherwise matter will never. So, because we cannot be inactive, even when we are dependent on Krishna, even when we are surrendered to Krishna, still we have to do something. We cannot be doing nothing. So what does a devotee do then? If he leaves everything to Krishna, and Krishna will do whatever required. So a devotee does. Prabhupada says, although Krishna was doing everything for Arjuna, example of Arjuna is being given, Arjuna never sat down idly as a non-devotee, as a non-violent gentleman. He never sat down idly. He tried his best to fight the battle and be victorious. So therefore, in the 3rd chapter, Krishna tells that you have to do your prescribed duty. You have to do your prescribed duty. And that prescribed duty is prescribed by Krishna through the scriptures. And everybody has got a prescribed duty. At least every human being has got a prescribed duty. And animals, lower creatures, are driven by the material nature, the impulses born in their body of the material nature. They act exactly according to the impulses of the body. That's why they have dog behaves like a dog or any creature. But human being, there is nothing like standard human behavior. Every human being can behave differently. Because human being has a choice. So therefore, because we have a choice and we are spirit soul and we have to be active, therefore there is guidance in the scriptures through our teachers, through the spiritual master, through the saintly persons, through the acharyas, through Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. How we should actually act in different situations. So that whole description in the scriptures is called Dharma Shastra. There's something called Dharma Shastra. Even though the fundamental injunctions of the Vedas are available in the original Vedas, especially the Upanishads. But most people cannot understand the Upanishads or the original Vedas. So the system has been that the original Vedas, including the Upanishads, are studied by the Brahmanas. And the Brahmanas direct the rest of the society in matter of what is their duty, what they should do, what they should not do, what is the goal of life, who we are, what is God, everything. So that's the arrangement in the Varnashrama system. Varnashrama system. But in the present age, where the Varnashrama system is not being properly followed, people are confused or they are neglectful or they are not properly educated as far as the scriptures are concerned. So the scriptures say one simply has to chant the holy name of the Supreme Lord and associate with devotees of Krishna, pure devotees of Krishna, and perform their activities simply in Krishna consciousness. And what activities to perform also is described in the devotional literature specifically. What should be done, what should not be done. So the essence is that one has to have an honest means of earning a livelihood. It doesn't matter what particular work one does, but just earn enough to maintain body and soul together and save time for Krishna consciousness. This is the essence of what the devotional literatures are telling us for this age of Kali. So which practically translates into, you just chant Hare Krishna and you do your duties. You do your duties. And in this way, Krishna will take care of actually delivering you from this material existence. Kali dosha nidhe rajan asti hyeko mahan gunaha. Shukadeva Goswami at the end of the Bhagavatam, he tells Parikshit Maharaj, Rajan, my dear king Parikshit, Kali dosha nidhe. Kali Yuga is an ocean of faults. Too many faults are there in this Kali Yuga. But there is one great quality, very unique to Kali Yuga. What is that? Kirtanad eva Krishnasya. Only by performing Krishna Kirtana. Mukta Sangha, you can become free from the evil influence of Kali. Param Vrajet, and you are able to go back to Godhead. Achieve the topmost destination of going to Krishna Loka. Param Vrajet. And the same thing in the Kali Santarana Upanishad, again Kali Santarana Upanishad, specifically meant for delivering us, all of us in Kali Yuga. This particular Upanishad. Iti Shodashakam Namnam Kali Kalmasha Nashanam. Mukta Sangha by Kirtanadeva Krishnasya. So that Krishna Kirtana specifically has to be performed by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is the one that is specifically recommended in Kali Santarana Upanishad, the specific Hare Krishna mantra. So this is what it translates to. So chant Hare Krishna, associate with devotees, take guidance from Acharya Srila Prabhupada, and have an honest means of earning livelihood, maintain your family, and simply by doing this, you go back to God. It's very simple. Philosophy is very simple. But somebody who is philosophically inclined, or somebody is curious, or somebody is intelligent enough to ask questions, how does it work? Then the entire literature of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam elaborately explains everything in Krishna consciousness. Not any other literature. Specifically, the Bhagavad Gita and the Bhagavatam. So Bhagavad Gita gives the basic principles in a concise way. Just 700 verses. And the Bhagavatam elaborates these principles with reasoning, logic, examples, ideal behavior of great devotees who acted in different circumstances exactly according to Krishna's instructions in the Bhagavad Gita, set the example for us. So the Bhagavatam describes elaborately. So just like Vasudeva, even though he knows Krishna has arranged everything, but still he is not sitting idly. He is doing his duty of trying to save Devaki, whatever required to save Devaki. So we also should understand Krishna has arranged everything for us in our life, but we have to do our prescribed duty. So prescribed duties, two kinds. One is pertaining to our present bodily situation. It's called Swadharma. And there is eternal dharma, Sanatana dharma. So Swadharma and Sanatana dharma are two types of prescribed duties. So Sanatana dharma is chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Swadharma is dependent on your particular position. If somebody is a father, then duty towards children. Somebody is a husband, duty towards wife. Somebody is a teacher, duty towards the students. Like that. Everybody has got duties based on their position, and they have to do their duties. So, regarding the specific details about how to act in different specific situations, for that you get guidance from the Acharya, and more specifically from the Acharya's sincere followers, his instructions, his devotees. In the association of these devotees, you get very specific guidance. So this is the whole program of the Krishna consciousness movement. In many places in Prabhupada's writings, he has explained a very simple way that it's not difficult to follow the principles of Krishna consciousness. It's very, very, very easy, as you can see in the lives of devotees who are already following and practicing. And you can very easily practice, follow, and actually perfect your life without any difficulty. So today is also the disappearance day anniversary of Prabhupada's Guru, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Great personality, extraordinary personality, who actually appeared in the previous century. And he was the son of another Acharya, pure devotee, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So by birth itself, his birth is extraordinary because his father, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, prayed to the Lord that kindly send me a devotee son who can preach this message of Lord Chaitanya all over the world. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur prayed to the Supreme Lord. He himself is pure devotee Acharya, but still he prayed to the Supreme Lord, I want a devotee son who will preach this message all over the world. So as in response to his prayer, the Lord sent him Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So by birth itself, the astrologer, a learned astrologer who made the horoscope at the time of birth of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, he said, this is an extraordinary child. It has got all the 32 symptoms of a Mahapurusha, a great personality. And according to our scriptures, who is a great personality? One who is born as a pure devotee, by birth a pure devotee. Even Prabhupada's horoscope was made at the time of his birth when an astrologer in Navadvip, he said, this child will grow up to be the teacher of the entire world, and he will cross the 7 seas and establish 108 Radha Krishna temples all over the world. This is the prediction that was made. He'll build a house in which the whole world can live. Now, these are all, when it is made as a prediction by an astrologer, people will think it should be taken with a pinch of salt. Most people will not understand. Neither will they take it very seriously. But later on, when our ISKCON devotees are discovering, Prabhupada never told anything like that, but when devotees discovered, oh, astrologer had already made this prediction, and it was there in Prabhupada's horoscope. And later on, great astrologers, very learned astrologers, they studied Prabhupada's horoscope. And they said, extraordinary horoscope. Extraordinary horoscope. Similarly, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was born as son of Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Devi, a very learned astrologer, Neelambara Chakravarti, he studied the horoscope and said, this child actually is an incarnation of the Supreme Lord. Because the horoscope is clearly indicating that, provided the astrologer knows how to read the horoscope. So Bhaktisiddhanta, by birth itself, he had 32 symptoms of a Mahapurusha. That's called Nyagrodha Parimandala. This is all given in the Shastra. This is not somebody's speculation or somebody's imagination, eulogizing somebody. No, this is actually very scientific. And when he was 6 months old, that time his father, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, was posted as a magistrate in Jagannath Puri. So he was staying in the quarters, and that was on the grand road on which the Jagannath's Ratha actually is taken. Jagannath is taken in this Ratha on the grand road from the Sri Mandir to the Gundicha Mandir, about 3 kilometers. So somewhere in the middle of the road, there was the house of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So the Ratha came, was pulled on that road and stopped right in front of Bhaktivinoda Thakur's house. And Bhaktisiddhanta was just born, 6 months old. The mother brought the child to get the blessings of Jagannath. And because Bhaktivinoda Thakur was a magistrate, she could go right up the chariot of Jagannath. And then when the child was taken in front of the deity of Jagannath, one garland fell from the deity's, one garland fell right on the child. So indicating that blessing of Jagannath for this child to do something extraordinary in future. Even when the child was born, the umbilical cord was wrapped around like a Brahmin thread. These are not merely coincidences. It's actually indicative of some great personality appearing for a mission of the Lord. So, he passed away December 31st, 1936, both by lunar calendar calculation and solar calendar calculation. It's the same day. Today the Tithi also is Margashira Masa, Krishna Paksha Chaturthi, and English calendar is December 31st. So both ways, the same date, his disappearance day, anniversary. So before he passed away, he gave some instructions, very, 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 very instructive. And so I'll just read some of the instructions that are recorded. Do not give up the worship of Hari, even amidst hundreds of dangers, hundreds of insults, or hundreds of persecutions. See, in Kali Yuga, to practice Krishna consciousness is not easy. In general, in the material world, there are always obstacles for anybody who wants to practice spiritual life. But particularly in Kali Yuga, there will be too many obstacles. That's why the Acharya is telling, do not give up the worship of Hari, even amidst hundreds of dangers, hundreds of insults, or hundreds of persecutions. Do not become unenthusiastic upon seeing that the majority of the people in this world are not accepting the message of Krishna's sincere worship. And we see that all around us. It's a fact. Majority of the people in this Kali Yuga will not be interested in Krishna consciousness. Be humble like a blade of grass and patient like a tree. Constantly glorify Hari. This is the same instruction which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us. Plenty of instructions are there. Some more, one or two more I'll read and then close. In this world, we do not have any attachment or aversion towards anybody. This is the way a devotee should live in this world. Neither we should have attachment for somebody, nor we should have any hatred or aversion to anybody else. Generally, our behavior is, those who are nice to us, those who are well-wishers, we become attached, we are nice to them. And somebody who is, always doing some harm to us, or they are our enemies, or they are inimical to us, then we try to distance ourselves from them, and we are generally not having any good feelings about them. But he says, no, we should not have any attachment or aversion towards anybody. All the arrangements of this world are momentary. This is very important, because when we are going through good times, we pray to the Lord that may this good time continue. And we try to settle down in this world comfortably, very nicely. And when we are going through a bad time, then we become very, very disappointed or upset or angry or anxious, different reactions. And then we don't know what to do, or we will become very, very despondent. So if you understand everything in this material world, all arrangements are momentary. They keep changing. This is the instruction of Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna in the 8th chapter. Adhibhutam ksharo bhavaha. The nature of this material world is that it is constantly changing. Which means what? If I'm having a good time now, it's not going to remain good always. Or conversely, if I'm having a bad time, it's not going to remain bad all the time. It's going to change. So constantly we are going through some good time, some bad time, some time which is like neutral. neither good nor bad. It's okay. So this keeps on happening. So what is our attitude? That we have to simply focus on doing our duties in Krishna consciousness. Now, what does it mean practically for us as devotees that, let's say, somebody is taken to Krishna consciousness, but their own family members are not so much interested. They do their duty of instructing their family members to chant, to be Krishna conscious. But the family members don't take interest, or they don't follow. A father is instructing the son. Let's say the son doesn't follow, doesn't accept the father's instruction to chant Hare Krishna. Then what is the duty of the father under such circumstances? So duty means whether your son accepts or does not accept, you do your duty of instructing him in Krishna consciousness. So that means you should be very detached. Otherwise, what is our nature? Oh, my son is very enthusiastic to follow, so I will give him very nice instructions. I'll take good care of him in Krishna consciousness. He's not interested. Oh, I don't bother to tell him anything about Krishna consciousness. No. Whether he's interested or disinterested, or he's partially interested, whatever be the case, you have to instruct him in Krishna consciousness as your duty. You have to do it. Similarly, if the wife is not very cooperative, so the husband should not give up maintaining the wife. Hypothetically, let's say somebody's wife is sinful. Still, as the duty, you have to maintain your wife, even if she's sinful. Because you try to instruct her and prevent her from doing sins. But you cannot give up your duty of maintaining your wife. This is the meaning of duty. Please understand this. While doing the duties, one has to be detached, because nothing is absolutely good. Materially speaking, nothing is absolutely good, nothing is absolutely bad. These are all circumstantial happenings. So we should maintain our Krishna consciousness amidst all kinds of situations. We should do our duty. Ourselves, we should execute our Krishna conscious practice, and we should also instruct people who are under our care, for whom we are superiors, who are our dependents. We have to instruct them, we have to maintain them, we have to do our duty towards them impartially, without any hatred or without any particular attachment. This is the proper behavior for a devotee. And this was instructed by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur in his last instructions. So I'll stop here. Prantarat Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada ki jai.